Coming up on KOTA Territory News at 5:30, the Central States Fair is close at hand. We'll tell you what's being done to prepare. Plus, there's a record-breaking meth bust by the South Dakota Highway Patrol, and a garage goes up in flames in Rapid City. Your news starts now.
From Skyline Drive, this is KOTA Territory News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Jack Cottle. Firefighters rushed to a North Rapid neighborhood this afternoon when a garage caught fire. The fire ignited around 2 on the 400 block of East Custer Street. The blaze produced a large column of smoke, prompting dozens of firefighters to respond. Fortunately, firefighters arrived early enough to extinguish the fire quickly and prevent significant damage to houses nearby. The man living at the house reportedly ran out of the garage and moved his truck out of the way. Much of the truck's bumper melted off and the truck became immobilized in the middle of the street but remained largely intact. A fire department battalion chief spoke about how today's hot temperatures create challenges for firefighters.
They're wearing full PPE, carrying equipment, gear. They're doing arduous work, trying to then further save lives and property. It is a hard thing. It is a hard thing that they do, especially in heats like this.
And the cause of the fire is currently under investigation. Chief Meteorologist David Stradling is tracking a few showers on First Alert Doppler radar. So, David, what should we expect throughout the night tonight?
Yeah, it's just a weak passing front right now that sparked off just a few light showers. These will be out of the area over the next couple of hours, and things will calm down for us. We are tracking a little bit of that moisture out into northwest South Dakota. Here's a closer look just north and southeast of Faith. These are moving southeast this evening. We have a couple of light showers around the Black Hills and Rapid City area, so don't be surprised to see a few light sprinkles, maybe even a moderate shower at some points. And then we'll be talking temperatures cooling off overnight tonight. But as of right now, it's still very warm, 90 in Hot Springs, Pine Ridge, and Phillip, 87 in Rapid City. But to the north and west, we have a lot of 70s on the map for Campbell County, Spearfish, Carter County, even up into Shade Hill. Tonight will be a comfortable night at 59, and tomorrow we're holding steady in those low 80s, 83 degrees. But don't worry, that summer heat returns. I'll tell you when and how warm we get coming up.
Thank you, David. The South Dakota Highway Patrol makes a record-breaking meth bust. The patrol says a 42-year-old man was stopped for speeding on I-90 in Sturgis when a service dog found more than 207 pounds of crystal meth worth an estimated $12 million, the largest meth bust in the Highway Patrol's history. The driver was found to be a non-citizen, is now with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, marking the 8th non-citizen arrest since the state's ICE partnership began. Governor Larry Roden said this underscores the need for Operation Prairie Thunder aimed at targeting drug trafficking in South Dakota. A Rapid City man charged with murder after a stabbing in front of the Cornerstone Rescue Mission in June of last year changes his plea in court on Friday. 33-year-old Michael Flores Jr. pleaded guilty but mentally ill to first-degree manslaughter Friday morning in 7th Circuit Court. Flores faced a mandatory life sentence if he was convicted on the murder charge, but with the manslaughter plea, he faces anywhere from no time behind bars to life in prison. Rapid City police were called to Main Street in front of the mission at 3 in the morning on June 20th of last year and found Douglas Cole dead on the sidewalk. They announced Flores' arrest later that day. He's scheduled to be sentenced on September 17th. The South Dakota Soybean Association says President Trump's call for China to buy up more soybeans are welcome. KOTA Territory's Blake Trolley has the story.
Yeah, roughly 60% of South Dakota grown soybeans have historically gone to China. From the beginning of the tariff negotiations, the Soybean Association has told me it's had its eye on this trade negotiation more than any. In a late Sunday social media post, President Trump urged China to quadruple its soybean orders from the U.S. The president saying that the move would be a way to reduce the trade deficit between China and the U.S. President of the South Dakota Soybean Association, Kevin Deinert, says the president's public urging is welcomed.
Welcome sight to see some progress being made in some of that in that realm of the world. So hopefully we can work on that. We'll see if that will be the end number, but I think any advancement towards that goal is going to be good for our soybean industry.
President Trump again extended the tariff deadline with China by 90 days as a previous extension was set to expire. While the two countries have yet to secure a deal, Deinert says certainty for South Dakota farmers would be welcomed heading into harvest, which begins in late September. You're still a couple months out, but nonetheless, how are South Dakota soybean farmers feeling right now, given that there hasn't yet been a trade, deal secured with China?
Yeah, obviously we're worried, and as you look at this whole year, we've seen a steady decrease in the price of grains as a whole, even soybeans. So it's been kind of a tumultuous time of trying to figure out how we're going to be profitable. So if we can see some uptick here right at the end of the year as we go into harvest, it's going to be a sigh of relief and a welcome reprieve.
During an interview last week, Congressman Dusty Johnson expressed his confidence in U.S.-Chinese trade negotiations. But as somebody who serves as, a member on the Committee on China, where do you see that trade negotiation headed?
Yeah, I think we're headed in the right position because President Trump has been able to project some strength, and I think that's powerful and that's important.
The president's post is being credited for sending soybean futures up over 2% to above $9.80 per bushel. Back to you.
The roar of engines has quieted down, but the impact of this year's rally is still echoing through Sturgis. Our Zeta Jones spoke with the city administrator and a local business owner to find out how.
The 85th annual Sturgis Motorcycle Rally wrapped up with a 12.5% increase in attendance from last year, with 576,000 visits just the first week, thanks to the rally's reputation among the biker community.
If you look at the other rallies across the nation, motorcycle rallies, they've all been trending downwards this year. It's up to 30% downwards, and right now we're showing a 12% increase. So we feel pretty fortunate and happy that we were kind of hold our own and improve upon that.
But not every shop saw the same crowd. At a local tattoo shop, artists say walk-ins were slightly down this year, though overall business held steady.
Everybody had their return clients and their referrals and appointments, but there wasn't not a lot of walk-ins like there used to be. It was kind of different. It was nice and busy, the streets were busy, but nobody had a lot of money to spend. Inflation, everything's went up. My rents went up considerably, and people just don't have the expendable income for a lot of this stuff, so.
While inflation remains a concern, the rally still brought a welcome boost to the local economy.
Before the rally, our sales tax was trending downwards, but we had a really good July, and we're anticipating in August a pretty good sales tax return in August too. So overall, we're pretty happy about the rally.
After another successful rally, Jordan says planning for number 86 is already underway. Reporting in Sturgis, Zeta Jones, KOTA Territory News.
We're just 4 days away from the Central State Fair swinging back into action. KOTA Territory's Hannah Hutter spoke with the fair's general manager to learn what you can expect this year.
It may be empty now, but crews are hard at work prepping for the 80th Central States Fair starting this Friday.
Our ribbon cutting kicks everything off Friday at 3 o'clock, and so we're super excited to get going with that.
After the kickoff ceremony, the fun begins for everyone in the family with motocross races, the Range Days Rodeo, and multiple musical performances. And if you need a spot to sit and relax after taking in all the fair food, but the kids still want to run off energy, the fair has you covered.
We've got a kids zone right in front of the Nerdy Nuts building. Free activities, balloon tying, a foam factory, a mini ninja race. We've got miniature golf, just some things to come out and have fun.
Jeffrey says he's excited to celebrate 80 years of the Central States Fair.
Well, the Central States Fair has been going a long time, but it's not without a lot of people putting a lot of work into it. And we've got a fantastic board of directors, a great staff, and tons and tons of volunteers that come help us put this on.
Times for this year's fair have changed. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The fair will open at 3 instead of the noon opening for the rest of the fair. And Jeffries reminds everyone there's only one way to avoid counterfeit tickets.
On a full schedule of events or tickets to any of the events, go to centralstatesfair.com. Now remember, when you go into the website, you need to make sure you're at centralstatesfair.com and not / ticket sales or anything else, because there do tend to be people who will buy tickets and try and resell them at a higher price or try and scam for tickets. So make sure you're on the proper website when you're searching.
In Rapid City, Hannah Hutter, KOTA Territory News.
As summer winds down and students gear up for a new school year, Rapid City is saying goodbye to the season with a splash. This Saturday, the Horace Mann and Parkview pools will close for the season, but not before one last party. City recreation officials are inviting families to the Goodbye Summer End of Summer Bash with free open swim from noon to 6. Admission is free with a donation to the Cornerstone Rescue Mission. Meanwhile, the Jimmy Hilton Pool at Sioux Park will remain open through August 30th. The Roosevelt Swim Center's indoor facility will close Sunday through Labor Day for its yearly maintenance, but the 50-meter outdoor pool will remain open. Last week we saw some intense weather. What's on the way this week? We'll let you know in your accurate First Alert forecast coming up later. But first, Representative Dusty Johnson weighs in on President Trump's trade policy. That story's next. Representative Dusty Johnson has expressed his support for President Trump's ongoing trade negotiations. The comments came during an interview taped last Monday.
He is initiating trade negotiations, and it clearly has borne fruit, exactly like he envisioned, with Japan, with the United Kingdom. We have made some progress with India. There are lots of other smaller countries where we are very, very close to being able to get a deal. The reality is we run a massive trade deficit. And if we want to continue to grow the South Dakota economy, we're going to need more open markets. I mean, even today in South Dakota, we sell $7 billion a year of agricultural and manufactured goods overseas. That is almost $8,000 a year for every single South Dakotan. We would be a lot poorer if we took that $8,000 out of each of our pockets. One of the ways to help us be richer is to take that $8,000 and move it to $10,000, bring that much more money in from the rest of the world. That is what Donald Trump is aiming at. I think the ultimate goal is more trade, not less trade, and he has made a lot of progress in that direction.
Chief Meteorologist David Stradling is tracking storm chances and summer heat. The details are in your accurate First Alert forecast next.
Now, the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist David Stradling.
We've had some clouds this afternoon, a mix of those clouds and sunshine throughout much of the day, but these clouds are bringing a few light showers to us in KOTA territory, and you can kind of see a little front that's passing through with that cloud cover and a few showers now just kind of east-northeast of Faith, going up through northern portions of Ziebach County, southern Ziebach into northern Hocking County. That's going to continue to slide southward. A few showers near and just east of Rapid City, and then maybe a couple of light showers into Weston County or southern Campbell County, but as that continues to push through, temperatures will be cooling off. We have a lot of 70s behind that weak little frontal system, but ahead of it, we're still looking at upper 80s to near 90 for many spots. 87 out of the Rapid City Airport. We are 80 downtown, 75 in Piedmont, and it's a bit breezy with that little system moving through. Winds sustained anywhere from 10 to 30 miles per hour, 21 mile per hour sustained wind in Buffalo. Wind gusts 35 to 40 miles per hour in some spots, with northeast Wyoming up to 30 miles per hour. So it will stay breezy over the next few hours before those winds start to weaken overnight tonight. 83 is our high temperature for tomorrow. Pretty comfortable with the southeast wind. That's right around average for this time of year. And we'll be tracking a lot of sunshine for tomorrow, but things will change going into Wednesday. So overnight tonight, it's a mostly clear sky. Tomorrow, a ton of sunshine. It's going to be a beautiful day for us. Now, by dinner time or a little bit later, you'll notice a few showers or thunder showers possible near the Sheridan area. These will push east-southeastward through the evening and overnight hours. So an isolated shower or thunderstorm is possible Tuesday night and a Wednesday morning. For Wednesday itself, while we have a lot of sunshine, we'll notice those storms firing off the bighorns, pushing eastward into western South Dakota, closer towards dinner time. Some of those storms could be on the stronger side. Now, we are looking at our thunderstorm outlook for Wednesday. This is issued early in the day, so they don't really update it for the third day in the forecast, which in this case is Wednesday. But by tonight after midnight, we'll likely be seeing the marginal risk expanded into northeast Wyoming and including much of the Black Hills region. So that's something we'll keep an eye on for Wednesday. But for tomorrow, enjoy some nice weather with a high of 83. It does get hot on Wednesday with a high of 94. Those storms firing up into the afternoon hours. Thursday, mostly dry, but still hot at 93. On Friday, temperatures drop to 85 degrees. We'll have a partly cloudy sky settling in across KOTA territory with some storms possible to begin the Central States Fair. We could see a couple of storm chances over the weekend as well. We'll talk more about that going throughout the week and keep an eye on those storm chances for timing and let you know how they may impact your weekend fair plans. Mainly clear skies tonight, pretty comfortable, low temperatures in the 50s for much of KOTA territory. As we go into tomorrow, highs will be in the 70s for parts of the Black Hills, 80s for many others, but Sheridan, Gillette, Southwest South Dakota going to be the hottest of them all with highs in the upper 80s to near 90. The next 3 days, we'll take those temperatures back-to-back 90s in Sheridan. A couple of storms possible in the afternoon hours tomorrow and Wednesday. And then for Gillette, we'll be tracking highs in the 90s Wednesday down to the 80s Thursday. Similar for Spearfish, 70s and 80s on tap going into Deadwood. In Rapid City, after back-to-back 90s, we'll stick with the 80s for Friday and the weekend. We'll have a couple of storms throughout the afternoon hours to keep an eye on Friday and Saturday, Sunday. Monday, we could have a late storm with a high near 90, and highs next week will likely likely stay in the 80s to near 90 as we go throughout the beginning of the fair.
And we made it through the rally without any really bad storms this year.
We sure did. No big hailstorms, thankfully, so riders didn't have to kind of dodge all of that. So good news for that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, coming up, a pair of post-22 pitchers signed on to play at the collegiate level. Plus, the Wall football team is poised to deliver another impressive season. Vic Quick has all the details next in KOTA Sports.
Good evening, everybody. We start with some sad news from the sports world this evening as former Custer and St. Thomas More boys basketball assistant coach Fred Paulson has passed away. In the 90s, Paulson was an assistant to legendary Wildcats head coach Larry Luchins. Before that, Paulson was an assistant coach on Michigan State's 1979 national championship team. Switching gears now, while the post-22 baseball team came up short in its quest to win state title number 45, the Hardhats did accomplish some impressive feats this season, finishing with a 60-10 record. Pitcher Jaden Moreno has been a big part of post-22's success. Moreno racked up a 21-8 record in his 3 seasons with the Hardhats to go along with an impressive 2.40 ERA. Moreno was signed on the dotted line to continue his career at Mount Marty. McCoy Rippentrop struck out 32 hitters in 30 innings, and he will play at Dodge City Community College in Kansas.
Develop as much as I can as a player and as a person down there with my teammates, and hopefully go on to a 4-year college after that, whether it be a D1 school hopefully or down to a NAI, just whatever suits me best I'd like to go to after that.
No other place felt like home like Mount Marty did, not just athletics but academics as well. I met with the dean of the business department 2 different times, and just seeing the options that it had to better support me for my future career as well as baseball, I really didn't feel like there was a close second.
Congrats to those guys and best of luck to them. Be fun to follow them at the next level. The Gillette Legion baseball team's run at the Northwest Regional ended on Saturday as the Rough Riders fell to the Portland Barbers 11-5. It was still an incredible season for Nate Perleberg's guys as they won their first state title since 2014. Gillette finishes the season with an overall record of 52-28. Last season, the Wall football team came up just short in its quest to reach the state championship game, falling to Wolsey Wessington 30-28 in the semifinals. That defeat, though, was the Eagles' only loss of the season as he finished with a 10-1 record. Lex Heathershaw's bunch is focused on delivering another big season. Wall does face the challenge of replacing some key players that were lost to graduation. The Eagles are going to kick things off a week from Friday, August 22nd, when they make the trip to Phillip to take on the rival Scotties. Now, after finishing last season with a 6-4 record, the KOTA football team is focused on delivering another big season. The Cougars kick things off August 29th when they host Lyman. The Cougars head to Wall for a big game on September 5th. KOTA then hosts Bennett County and Phillip on September 12th and 19th. Won't be long. The high school football season will be here. The larger classes began practice today, smaller classes last week, and the season's first edition of the Friday Night Hike coming your way a week from this Friday, August the 22nd. Now, football starting in a couple weeks. The first high school fall sports event of the season is in the books. Girls tennis, Spearfish got a win today over Rapid City Central by the score of 7-2. So nice start to the season for the Spartans. Major League Baseball tonight, Twins opening up a series against the Yankees in Minnesota, getting a bit of a boost to the lineup as Byron Buxton is back off the injured list. I'll let you know how that game goes tonight. Twins and Yankees. Rockies have the night off. They open up a series against the Cardinals starting tomorrow. And high school soccer, we mentioned football and tennis. High school soccer starting up this week on Friday. All right, that's going to do it for sports. We'll be right back after this short timeout.
A little bit cooler over the weekend, but not done with the heat quite yet.
Yeah, it was kind of nice this weekend, a bit refreshing. Some good rainfall yesterday to help keep those grasses green and the lawns continuing to grow, so we have to mow still. But yeah, we are going to warm back up. Looking at that 7-day forecast, comfortable tomorrow, but 90s Wednesday and Thursday. Storm chances pretty dominant going into the weekend.
All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you tonight at 10.
Thanks for watching KOTA Territory News, your local news and weather authority.